Good day. My name is Melody Campo, and I am an environmental scientist and an assistant professor. Join me in a series of videos that focus on port ecology and marine environmental science. Today, I introduce marine biofouling species in Philippine coastlines, especially along ports. The Philippines is an archipelago, has numerous ports lining our coastlines, and it is essential to know the different organisms that are living there. Ports are parts of coastlines which have been altered to berth and anchor ships. It is important that we identify the marine fouling communities there, as there can be indigenous and non indigenous species too. Indigenous species are those that are native to the Philippines, and non indigenous ones are the others that come from other regions of the world. How come there are non indigenous species? Due to marine traffic, ships from other regions may bring foreign organisms via hull fouling and ballast water. Some of these organisms can be biologically invasive, and as invasives, they pose economic and ecological effects to our local communities. Let us begin with a roster of indigenous species that have been identified by the protocol of the Portec Project. The Portec Project is a research which was designed to establish Philippine port biological baselines. This is the PICES collector that has been used to gather samples for the identification of organisms in the coastlines. It is composed of a bucket lid where you have four petri dishes attached to it. In the middle, there is a hole through which your nylon rope will go through. One end of the nylon rope will be attached to the port and any structure there which can serve as anchor, while the other end has a cement weight attached to it to make sure that the Pisces collector is submerged under the water for the specific period of time where you will get your samples. After around 60 days or so, the collectors are retrieved, a petri dish is collected, and organisms in the petri dish will be identified. Here are the two species which are featured in this video. We have Saccostrea echinata and Pinctada imbricata.
Saccostrea echinata, commonly known as spiny rock oyster or sisi, belongs to the phylum Mollusca. Some of its distinctive features include a poorly sculpted shell that is longer than wide. It also has no tiny folds inside the shell called chromata. This species is native to Indonesia and Palau. Its life cycle involves spawning, with adults releasing eggs and sperm. Fertilized eggs develop into planktonic trophophore larvae, then veligers. After drifting in the water, veligers settle on substrates, undergo metamorphosis, and become sedentary juveniles. These juveniles grow into adult oysters, characterized by their distinctive shells and filter feed in shallow coastal waters. There is no widely recognized information indicating that this species is considered invasive in areas outside its native range. Information specific to the occurrence of this species outside its native range is not readily available. These are some of the photos from Vortec. These are some of the photos from online databases. Pinctada imbricata, commonly known as Atlantic pearl oyster, belongs to the phylum Mollusca. Some of its distinctive features include its inequivalve shell with the left valve more inflated. Inequivalve basically means valves of different size or form. Its brownish or reddish outer shell has small radially projecting spines in its margins, while its underside has a highly iridescent nacreous area that resembles a pearl. This species is native to the Atlantic and Indo-West Pacific. Its life cycle involves spawning, with adults releasing eggs and sperm. Fertilized eggs develop into planktonic trophophore larvae, then veligers. After drifting in the water, veligers settle on substrates, undergo metamorphosis, and become sedentary juveniles. These juveniles grow into adult oysters, characterized by their distinctive shells and filter feed in shallow coastal waters. There is no widely recognized information indicating that this species is considered invasive in areas outside its native range. Information specific to the occurrence of this species outside its native range is not readily available. These are some of the photos from Vortec. These are some of the photos from online databases. Unfortunately, there is no current literature on its potential impacts on Philippine coastal ecosystems. Its introduction outside its natural range could potentially lead to ecological impacts. However, specific information about its presence and potential effects in the Philippines would require more current and localized research.
So we've seen two organisms in this video, and we will come up with more individuals in our next video. If you are interested in our work, please send an email to mbocampo@up.edu.ph. There is always the need to take care of our environment. It all starts with our little efforts. Together, we can save the seas of the Philippines and make it sustainable.